The Boys season 3 is here, and they dropped 3 episodes. We're gonna talk about it. What's up, everybody? We're the Jersey Comic Crew. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Chris, The Boys season 3 is crazier than I even imagined. Thank God they gave us 3 episodes, because if they just left us off on how they ended episode 1, I was not gonna be a happy camper.
I mean, 3 episodes of the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Rob, I was just saying this off here to you. Every 10 minutes, I was just like clutching pearls, grabbing a Bible. Like it was insane. I thought they were gonna kind of wait for some of this stuff till the episode 6 area. They did not hold back on the word go.
All this doesn't feel like it's 3 episodes in. It feels like this is like the end of the season.
It's so much stuff going on.
Like
so many
changing from Mr. We got to do everything the right way, but like, nah, Butch is right. We got to go kill some other suckers. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I loved Huey's kind of evolution. I also like Butcher's too in the beginning, right? He had this kind of, all right, I guess maybe what I was doing is wrong. He's kind of going against his gut for the first time in forever after losing Becca, the situation with Ryan and Homelander. And now, you know, all the boys have this kind of CIA secret contract that keeps them out of jail for mass murders.
Thank God.
But they also have to bring in superheroes who are doing criminal acts the correct way and arrest them and have them detained and all that stuff. So it was interesting to see Butcher kind of fall back and let Huey take the lead as Huey is working with Senator Newman. But it was great to see that flip back to reality.
Yes.
Where Huey's like, oh my God, I've been working for this person who blows up heads. Like he figured it out and he follows her in that great scene in the alleyway. Also, side note, Rob, is it me or is Huey always covered in other people's like liquids of some sort?
Huey is always covered in somebody else's liquids.
Which is very funny. Yeah, like, yeah, that too. But like, it's like blood, like Butcher throws up on him. Like it's just constant disgusting stuff is just covering this poor guy.
I think as an actor, he goes to the studio, he's like, do it. Whatever idea you have, I'm ready to get liquid thrown on me.
They must have casted him based on like how much did you watch Slime Time Live on Nickelodeon as a kid?
We're gonna dump 17 gallons of fake blood on you. Are you ready?
And we're gonna snap your arm in half.
Oh, when they snapped his arm, I audibly screamed out. I was like, all right, they're gonna do a nice little hairline fracture. We're gonna be fine. She snaps it in half.
Once it was Kimiko doing it, I was like, this isn't gonna end well at all. Like,
oh my God,
why is she doing it? Like, can't like Frenchie or Butcher do it, like, and just kind of punch or, you know, do a little crack here? But no, she just straight up dropped his arm and gave him a second elbow.
Going back to Senator Newman and finding out that she's essentially Dan Edgar's daughter, Vaught is just controlling everything in ways that we didn't even realize. Like this whole federal bureau of like detaining super criminals and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. It's just another way for Vaught to like kind of like get what they want done. It's like, oh yeah, catch these guys. We don't really care about them. Numbers look great. Publicity looks great for you. It's a win on all sides. It just shows you how like corrupt big business can be. And it just tells me that the boys are in over the heads even more than the past 2 seasons.
Absolutely. It is the perfect personification of big business. Having Senator Newman there as your direct line is key. And finding out that Stan is basically her surrogate dad is crazy. And she had, it's already bad enough, right? She has the head popping power,
which is super strong.
Yeah, like even that fight with that poor guy from her past, like it must have been a friend, and he also had some power that, you know, as we saw, he knew to cover her eyes so that if she saw him, it was over. But she has this power. Now Stan's involved. We know he's trying to get this temporary V out to the public, or at least military trials, right? He meets with the guy running for presidency who's backing this. He wants to sell it for $2 million a pop. Could you imagine with the amount of armed forces the United States have compared to anybody else?
Crazy amount of money.
How much money that is. So all of that is kind of this connecting point of like, oh, okay, Newman's here. She's running for office. She's going to put this through. It all connects into like the business and just entity that Vaught is, whether it's their PR, whether it's their marketing. All of that stuff is connected to this, and I thought it was a great thing to see.
This show does a great job of creating 2 supervillains. One is Stan Edgar, which is really on like the Lex Luthor, not obvious, right? It's like, I'm going to control everything. Like, I'm controlling the federal government, the armed forces. I'm going to have so much money, you're not even going to stop me. And then we get to Homelander, who's gone completely insane this season.
We say every season.
We say that every season. He just goes further in the deep. He just keeps leaning into it. his ultra extremist, unapologetically monster speech he gave at his birthday party just shows that he's a crazy man. He's not going to stop until he's like the king of the world. And you're either going to love him or he's just going to kill you.
Yeah, Homelander had his kind of Omni-Man speech moment,
there you
right?
go. Yeah.
And he doubles down with that with Starlight when he gives her that rigmarole about releasing the tape, which I loved that scene even more so than the speech scene, because that scene is basically where we find out Homelander has nothing to lose. The one thing Homelander has always had is a need to be loved. And that was his only flaw as far as, okay, we can control this. We can focus on that. But now that's gone. Now he doesn't care. He's going, if I'm not loved, I'm going to be hated. And that is something crazy for an already great villain to double down and kind of have no weakness anymore.
I want to talk a little bit about what set him off this season. The final push in this particular season, aside from all the craziness of season 1 and 2, is when Stormfront quote unquote killed herself, right?
Yep.
He goes there on his birthday, say, hey, if you're there, like blink my eyes, you blink your eyes or something, so that way I know that you care. He leaves the room, she blinks his eyes and she's crying. She cares about him a lot. And the fact that we see this whole news bulletin of like, she bit her own tongue to kill herself. I don't buy it. I don't buy her death at all. I don't think it's a suicide. It's either somebody killed her or it's fake. I think it's Edgar messing with Homelander just to push him over the edge to get him completely out of the 7, because he's done with him. He's like, all right, he's unstable, especially after what we saw at the birthday party. And the fact that like that pushed him over the edge is kind of like what everybody, I guess, wanted really to see.
I think it's a culmination, though. I think he was bubbling over the surface in his apology tour. Because by the time you get to the speech at his birthday, it's the culmination of everything, right? The beginning of that speech is, I'm done apologizing.
Yes.
I'm done talking about this. Like, I basically saying, I don't care. Yes, I dated a Nazi. Who cares? Like, he kind of believes half of the stuff that she's been saying anyway, as she's propped him up as this, superhero for the, Aryan race per se.
Yeah, it's wild.
The beginning of him doing that apology tour over and over, which is also in the trailer, right? Where he's like clearly like crazy behind the scenes. And that adding to her death, I think just boiled over with Starlight and the 7 and all that stuff. So I think all of that together is what made him snap fully. But I think it's been building, but I think you have something there, Rob. I think Stan Edgar is behind it. I don't necessarily think she bit off her tongue.
Yeah.
But I do think she's dead, and I think Stan had something to do with it. I think this is part of his play to begin that slow push of getting him out of the 7 to create this new model he has only in his head right now.
We know the whole Starlight being co-captain is just another example of him trying to push him out. And then Homelander, the manipulative genius that he is, was like, okay, during the American Idol of the next Vaught 7, whatever they're freaking doing. And they brought in the Deep back, and I'm like, all right, great. And then this other supersonic nobody, I don't even care.
Oh, he's such a toolbox, isn't he? I don't trust that guy.
Starlight, we're a Hack Homelight, like we're an item, and she just has to go with it. And it's wild. It's wild. He's like, all right, now I'm going to have her in my pocket, and now people are going to love me. And now she's just going to add to me instead of like detracting or being the opposite for you. It was like, oh, I could take this and run with it, be my own self, and still have that female following and all that attention from her, and just make everybody love me from both sides of the aisle. It's wild, man.
It's crazy. It's also genius. And the other side of that I'm thinking about is, wow, man, Huey's already going through it, right?
Oh, like, poor Huey.
Besides the broken arm, he is already going through it, and he's already dealing with Supersonic, which is her ex-boyfriend who's come back to be a part of the 7. I don't trust him at all, Rob. She gives him the whole reason why he shouldn't be in the 7, and he's still there. Don't trust him. I think he's a lying piece of shit. I think that's going to come to fruition in a couple episodes. And then how Huey's going to find this out, I don't think it's going to be the normal way where she calls him and goes, hey, by the way. I think he's going to see it on TV and snap.
He's going to have to see it on TV because he's going back in the secret mission, which we talked a little bit about the boys at the beginning of it. But getting back to the boys, we find out that there's a way to kill Homelander, right? There's this mystery weapon that took out Soldier Boy. Maeve went up to Butcher and like normal people clothing, which I almost forgot what she looked like without her superhero outfit.
Yeah, right.
And then she's like, listen, if you believe all this stuff, this is the weapon that killed Soldier Boy. Go after the rest of the Payback members. They might know something. Get this weapon. This might be our only chance to kill him. Butcher takes the serum. He's going on this whole bender. Huey's also going off the edge. Mother's Milk is back. Everybody's realizing that this is the end all be all and they have to do it. Except a little bit of Frenchie, Kamiko. They're like, they're not really going crazy and bought in like the others are. But the others, they're just going for it. And they're going to try to figure out what's this weapon that killed Soldier Boy and hopefully use that to kill Homelander. I don't even know if it's a real weapon.
I think the weapon is Soldier Boy. I think that's the weapon. I think it's Soldier Boy. He was captured by the Russians. They did tests on him. I think it's him now. They've upgraded him. I think it's going to be him. It's going to be like a Winter Soldier scenario where he comes out of this like Bacta-looking tank. Ooh. And they kind of keep him on ice until they need him. I think that's the weapon. But I also think what you said about Frenchie and Kimiko is totally valid, but I think that's already shifted. Because of this situation with Frenchie's past and like the Russian mob, I think that's going to tie it in together. I think what they've done so well with all of our boys' characters, it's like, here's their new normal and here's how it can never be this way, right? It shows you a glimpse into like the normal life of what never will be possible. Mother's Milk just being a dad and kind of off on his own and trying to figure out his family life where his wife left him for basic Todd, which I don't understand.
And hey, hold on. I like Todd. Todd's a nice man.
No, you do not like Todd.
He's going to be a good father to that girl.
He's had one line in the whole thing, and he's a superhero lover. He's an ignorant superhero lover. Screw Todd. He's basic.
He's good for the kid.
And Mother's Milk isn't.
Mother's Milk's got shit going on.
You're sounding very Homelander-ish, Rob.
No. My God.
Breaking up certain families, Rob.
Mother's Milk has more important things to do than to be a dad. There, I said it.
Handsome man breaking up a family.
Mother's Milk has to go kill Homelander. That's more important than being a dad right now. I'm sorry.
Well, speaking about Mother's Milk, I think his part of the story is going to be the most complete as well as interesting in this season. Because we also now know that Soldier Boy killed his family, which has been this lingering question, right? We knew he was killed by a soup. His dad was a lawyer.
Yeah.
He was a big fan of his dad. Him and his dad were very close. Randomly dies trying to take out superheroes. We find out that's connected to Soldier Boy. So how is that going to play when they need Soldier Boy to take out Homelander, but Mother's Milk has his own priorities? I think that's setting up for a great kind of double cross scenario.
I can't wait for this next episode. The show is doing such a good job.
Great.
I'm biting up every second. But real quick, we have to talk about the Deep. We mentioned Deep before.
Oh God.
We can't end this episode without talking about the Deep. The Deep sitting at dinner with his wife, who obviously hates the octopus because he thinks he's fucking the octopus. That's what I'm telling you.
That was such an uncomfortable. There's so many uncomfortable scenes in this.
It was so good. That one where he's talking, me up for all your arms. Yeah,
talking to the octopus inside the tank.
You knew she picked out the octopus when the octopus was on the table.
Yep.
And Homelander goes, "Eat fucking Timothy." Cold. When Timothy's death, I don't think I cried harder than anything else. And that was it. I teared up and then screamed, "No!" I was like sobbing. I was like, "No, not Timothy!" My cat's also named Timothy. So my cat was going crazy. He's like, "What am I doing? I'm just here chilling with catnip." My cat was high at the time. He needed something. I had to help him. But the Deep eating Timothy.
Oh my God, it was so dark.
I stand by this statement until the end of the season. Is the worst and most gruesome thing I've seen the boys have done till this time. He's like, the fact that like he's eating somebody alive, right? Like a sentient being. And he's like, he's saying he has a wife and kids. He's like, eat him. He's praying. He's in my mouth. He's screaming. He's pleading. Eat him. And she sends him a text. Just fucking eat the squid. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. So painful. I don't know if I can recover.
So 2 things about that. Number 1, I think his wife is just as diabolical as Homelander.
Oh yeah.
And I think we're gonna get a scene where she's banging Homelander. I think she's gonna go.
Her.
I think she's going for power structure because everything that she has been this season is completely insane.
Yes.
Absolutely insane. Number 2, you think that scene is worse than the guy going into another guy's junk and sneezing and exploding him from the inside in the first 20 minutes of the season.
Surprisingly,
where I barely had a sip of coffee at 9 a.m. and I'm going, what am I watching right now?
Surprisingly, yes. That's within the realm of possibility. I'm like, all right, cool. You're gonna kill somebody during sex.
The octopus scene was worse? I mean, the octopus scene is very awful. It's so awful.
He's screaming, I have family and kids. And his best friend that was gonna jerk him off with all 8 of his arms is killing him as he's praying. And then you hear the loud squish.
What about the flashback scene of Grace's like army settlement and everyone just dying? No. That was rough. We see Black Noir, by the way.
Justice for Timothy. Well, that ending got a little heated, didn't it? Let us know down in the comments below what you think the most gruesome scene in The Boys season 3, and are you enjoying the show?
And guys, thanks so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up, like, really helps the channel out a lot. If you're new, subscribe, turn on notifications. You want to be right back here every time we talk about The Boys every single week. And if you miss anything, it's always here on the channel. And as always, I'm Chris Heller. That's Rob Moran. We are the Jersey Comic Crew, and we'll see you next time.